Joining me now is the Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek. Thank you so much for your time. Busy day for you. The states are blowing up at the government a bit, aren't they, about this prospect of capping coal prices? What's going to happen here? Do you think the federal government will end up paying compensation?
Oh, look, I'm not going to speculate at this stage, but I think it's really important for the states to remember we're trying to bring down energy prices for the whole country. If we want to support businesses in New South Wales, it'd be really good to partner with the New South Wales government to keep energy prices lower for businesses and households in that state. We want to keep jobs in Queensland. We need to see lower power prices in Queensland, and that means doing something about really high coal and gas prices at the moment.
So they need to play their part. Is that what you're saying? It's not just a federal problem?
I think we need to work together. I mean, we've got some extraordinary circumstances. We've got 9 years of inaction by the previous government. We know this would be less of a problem now if Australia had more energy self-reliance, if we had more renewables in the grid, it would be less of a problem. We know if there wasn't a war in the Ukraine, energy prices wouldn't be doing what they're doing globally. But we are where we are. We need to do something for families and for businesses to keep household energy bills low, to keep business bills lower so they can employ more people and keep the economy going. We need to partner with the states and territories to do that. The Commonwealth can't do it on our own.
Now, it seems to be taking a long time. You know, the budget was the end of October, it's now December. When are we going to see this thing? What's the hold-up? Is it that division with the states, or is it the fact the PM was overseas for a couple of weeks probably didn't help?
No, I don't think either of those things are the problem here. I think the problem is it is an extraordinarily complex thing to bring energy prices down, because you don't want to cause distortions in the market, you don't want to dissuade future investment, but we need to do something about energy prices, or we're going to see businesses going broke and families, you know, making really difficult choices about whether to pay the energy bill or put food on the table.
Was it a mistake to make the $275 promise?
Well, it was based on the modelling we had at the time. We didn't have the war in Ukraine when the modelling was done, and it is...
The leader and the treasurer kept on with that after the war
and this is about a price projection for 2025, and what we're doing right now is our very best to work with the states and territories to bring down energy prices. And I tell you, one of the biggest changes we'll make, the $20 billion we're putting into upgrading our transmission networks means we can put more renewables into the grid. We've got a target of 82% renewable energy by 2030. We know that renewable energy is the cheapest form of electricity in human history. We've got to get into it. And not only does that bring down prices over time, it actually makes us more energy self-reliant.
Is Parliament sitting Saturday, do you think? What's happening at the moment with the IR legislation and everything?
Yeah, honestly, your guess is as good as mine. The last update I had from the Senate was that there were 19 amendments to the industrial relations bills, and they'd got through 0 of them. They had voted on none of them yet. We've got filibustering from Michaelia Cash. She is drawing this out as long as she possibly can. I can't understand why, because it's clear where this is going. We've got the support, the government has the support of the Senate to get this through. We're confident of the votes there. I don't know why she's dragging it out in this way. I think Australians are really sick of this sort of political nonsense that they're seeing from Michaelia Cash, just drawing it out for the sake of drawing it out. Australians have waited 9 years for a pay rise. They shouldn't have to wait over Christmas as well and have the uncertainty of this legislation not passing. We want to see secure jobs and better wages. Let's just get on with it.
I've had someone from the opposition and someone from the crossbench suggest to me this week that the reason why Parliament might have to sit Saturday is because there's a Labor fundraiser on Friday. I mean, I've seen that in a column in a newspaper as well. Does that have any effect on sitting?
I'm not going to any fundraisers on Friday. I don't know. I don't know what's going on Friday, but I can tell you, if I have to be here on Friday to pass the IR bills, so be it. You know, if I have to come back Saturday to do it, so be it. The thing that is irritating about this is that we're not now arguing about matters of substance. What you see is deliberate delaying tactics from Michaelia Cash just to draw this out in an utterly pointless effort to cause chaos. If I have to come back Saturday, so be it.
You had this news about UNESCO and the Great Barrier Reef at the start of the week, the UN wanting to list the reef as in danger. It did occur to me that if you were still in opposition, you would have jumped all over the coalition government in relation to that. You've got a slightly different stance at the moment. Is that fair?
I would have pointed out that the reason that UNESCO are considering an endanger listing for the reef is because, as the report very clearly says, the previous government didn't take action to reduce the danger of climate change. We know that climate change is a risk.
But you don't agree with the listing?
No, of course I don't agree with the listing, because why should the Great Barrier Reef be singled out compared with every other coral reef around the world? Climate change is a risk to every coral reef. Warming oceans cause coral bleaching, acidification of the oceans. Of course, it all has an impact. But we don't see a reason to single out the Great Barrier Reef. It's one of the best managed reefs in the world. We are working very closely with our scientists to improve that. We're working, just last week, I made an announcement that we're going to work with commercial fishers to reduce bycatch on the reef. We're working with tourism operators to deal with things like crown of thorns starfish. Our scientists are coming up all the time with new ways of restoring reefs, like actually rebuilding them, replanting coral. That's really exciting stuff. Yes, climate change is a risk, but why single out Australia when it's a risk to every reef globally? And I have to say, the biggest change as far as UNESCO has said, and they have said, working with the previous government and our government, is the difference between night and day. The biggest difference is we're prepared to say we'll do our bit to keep global warming below 1.5 degrees. We've got legislated targets, zero net emissions by 2050, 43% reduction by 2030, and we're working hard to do our share as a good global citizen. So we don't think we need to be singled out.
All right, just finally, in October, there's a long-time Labor supporter, a guy called Alex Richardson, who claimed you told him at the Erskineville Public School Fair about stage 3 tax cuts. If it were up to me, I would get rid of them.
Yeah, I don't even remember who we're talking about. I speak to hundreds of people.
Could you have said it though?
Well, I don't recall that conversation. I don't recall saying that, but I speak to hundreds of people.
Is it your personal view that you should get rid of the stage 3 tax cuts?
No. My personal view is I support Labor policy.
So it's a cabinet position that binds you to that. I'm just wondering if you have a different person.
Well, you know what Labor policy is, and I support Labor policy. I'm a member of the cabinet and I support Labor policy.
Tanya Plibersek, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.